Okay, good morning, Chavirim. We're still in Chaye Moharan, Resh Tzadik. My Resh Tzadik is divided in three. We're in the third one. Resh Tzadik Gimel. פעם אחת קבל אחד לפניו בדרך נסיעתו עד הפרנסה. Once a person came to Rabbeinu while Rabbeinu was traveling על הפרנסה. So a guy was complaining that money wasn't easy. והאיש ההוא היה בעל אכסניה שלו. So the guy was complaining was the host. Many of the Jews back in the days, in Russia especially, in Europe, part of their business was having a little inn. Traveling was not like today at all. You don't get there in the same day. There's not hotels available everywhere. And you can't plan which hotel you're going to stay at. You just sort of traveling, and wherever you get to, you got to stop. So there was all kinds of little inns. Basically, a person has his house. He has an extension to his house. He has a few rooms. He gives food, and that was it. And they had the Jewish ones. Probably had Goyish ones also, but they had the Jewish ones. So the Bar Aksanya was telling Rabbeinu that it's really hard for him parnasa. Vayane Rabbeinu rachmanut gadol anav. And Rabbeinu had pity on him. And this is very important, what we're going to say now. Ki ayano banot nasiyan vayani gadol. So the guy had daughters to marry, and he was poor. There's no credit card back then. There's no line of credit. If you don't have money, there's no way of getting it. And Rabbeinu had pity on him because he had to marry his daughters. Marrying a child, sometimes you can get by with the monthly expenses. But when it comes time to marry a daughter, especially a daughter, because you got to pay for the daughter. Usually you pay more when you marry your daughter. That's the way it goes. The son, people pay to get a good khatan. But the daughter, you should do everything you can to marry your daughter young and to a good person. And that, you should pay for it. So just interject now, person has daughters, he has to really think about not letting it go long, trying to get the shidduch right away, and entice the deal. So if you see a good guy, what they do in the yeshiva circles is that they actually tell him, listen, we're willing to support you for a few years in the yeshiva and kolam. It's a standard thing. Back then, it used to be the people even buy you a house. Yeah. So imagine that the guy didn't go on a shidduch yet. And now he has two offers. He doesn't know who's who. But this family is going to help buy you an apartment, and this family's not. You're going to I'll go out first with this one. If it works, it works, right? So Rabbeinu had pity on this guy. And by the way, that's why the people coming in from Israel and collecting money for achnasat kala, that means they're in a situation where they got to marry off a child. So it's a big mitzvah to help them. Big mitzvah. They're not beggars. They're people that many times work or kollel, and now it just came the big expense. They're getting by month to month. Now it's the big expense. What do you do? And even rabbanim come and travel. Sometimes I recognize people, they're really rabbanim. They're tamidei chachamim that are coming to elect, and you just think they're a regular guy coming. They're coming like for a wedding. Anyways, Rabbeinu had pity on this person. Ki hayano v'naseh nes nifla, and a miracle happened. Sheba adon and achsanya hi v'ibed sham kis rendlich. So a certain Adon came, a lord, that was they used to call them in those places, like landowners and rich people. It was
landlord.
A landlord, very nice. And a certain Adon came, and he had a bag of money, big bag of money. Matsua Isha, when he lost his money, and he left. So he came, he took a coffee, took a tea, took a meal, and he left. And he left a bag of money. So now this Adon left, and now he realizes, where's my money? So it seemed to be, I'm not sure if he came back or if he lost it there as was. And actually, I think it's a shortened version over here. I think what happened is that he went into the bathroom in the outhouse. And he left his money in the outhouse. The outhouse was really cold and not easy. He left his money. The guy found the money. Then the Adon's looking for the money. He's getting upset. At the beginning, the guy thinks, well, I got a good deal over here. He lost his money. But then he could be even to come to murder over here. The guy's losing his money. There's no police. There's no justice. So it could get to alila umishpat me'adon, or maybe going to jail. והודה האיש ההוא שהוא מצא את הכיס מהרנדך. So right away, the Badabait that Rabbeinu gave him the blessing, or the Rabbeinu had pity on him, so right away he said, I found the money. By the way, this is not it's not the full story. Because Rabbeinu basically told him, I remember from another place, Rabbeinu told the guy, okay, you're going to get the money, just don't be tipesh, don't be a fool. You're going to get the money, just don't be a fool. What does that mean? So the guy lost his money. Our Balabait found it. He gave it back. Then he went again to the bathroom and he lost again the money. בתוך כך, והפליא השם מדבר נס נפלא בתור נס, בתוך כך חזר אדון ואיבד את הכיס, he lost the money again. וחזר ומצא האיש, now he leaves and he comes back and the Jew found it again. ואז אמר לו האדון שבוודאי אינו חושד את האיש. He asked the people, did you find the money? He says, no, for sure, this Jew didn't find it, because if he found it, he would give it back to me. So I know it's not him. כי הוא היה איש נאמן, שכבר החזיר לי פעם אחת. ונפטר ממנו איש, והאדון חזר לביתו ריקם, והאיש השיא בנותיו נתפרנס בנקיות. And the guy ended up marrying his daughters. And that was, he remember said, Rabbeinu said, don't be a fool, don't give it back 2 times. So you hear 2 things over here. Sometimes don't be a fool. You don't have to be a fool, okay? Now there's halachot. Hashavat Avidah, when it comes to a Yid Shomer Torah mitzvahs, you got to give back. When it comes to a person that's over the Avodah Zarah, not necessarily. There's halachot, okay. Anyways, the second thing I want to point out here is that he told his tsar to the tzaddik. He told his tsar to the Rav. He told his pain, and the feeling of pain that Rabbeinu had for him brought him the nes. Rabbeinu says in Likutei Moharan, there are certain people that just telling them your problems and them internalizing it and feeling a pain for you creates a miracle. And how does it work? When the tzaddik has pain for you, when you have a pain because of the situation that you're in, that's gzera on you. But when you share it with the tzaddik, does he have to have a suffering? He doesn't deserve a suffering. He has only mitzvot. You have a suffering because you deserve avirot. You have avirot, so you deserve to have a cleansing. He doesn't. Now, if you tell it to a guy in one ear, out the other ear, nothing happens. Because many people, you tell them and they say, oh, but it doesn't make a difference to them. They would be more bothered if they spilled their coffee than if you lost $1 million. Right? There's people like that. Like, if you lost $1 million, it's not going to change their life. But if he spilled his coffee and he has coffee on his pants, it's going to bother him much more than if you lost $1 million. The tzaddik is not like that. The tzaddik, your pain, he feels the same as you and more than you. It's one with you. So imagine that the guy doesn't have kids, the guy can't find the shidduch, the guy doesn't have any money. The pain that he has, when he tells it to the tzaddik has the same pain as if it's him. Now the pain on him, it's not warranted, it's not justified. He doesn't deserve that pain. So when the tzaddik feels the pain and says, I wish that could go, I really wanted to go good for you, it's saying as if it would be for himself, and then that takes away your problem. So it's a very good thing that even the tzaddik might not necessarily have a solution. He might not say, sometimes we go to the tzaddik and we want him to say, do this business, do this, go here, call this lady for a shidduch, call this, here's the miracle. Not necessarily like that. It's just the internalization of the associating himself with your difficulty will actually come about a miracle to you and a change to you. So when you have a pure person, you have a tzaddik, you have an Oved Hashem, you have a person that really cares, he's really attached to Am Yisrael, tell him your problems, tell him what you're going through, tell him your difficulty. Don't forget to tell him also the miracle. Many times at tzaddikim, there was Rav Chaim Kaneski, that a person came with a certain problem, and he came back 9 years later, and he told him problem, and he told him his name. He says, I know you, I pray for you every day. He says, what do you mean? You came here 9 years ago, you told me your problem. What happened with that problem? He said, no, after 2 years it was fixed. He said, I'm praying for 9 years, why didn't you tell me? For 9 years he was praying for him. He had his name every day for 9 years, something like that, 7 or 9 years. You understand that the tzaddik takes it and he takes it to heart and he's living with it. So call him back when there's a miracle also. Because the same way you have a difficulty, he feels a joy when you have a joy. So you can give him that joy. So that means to give and if we're somebody comes to tell us our problem, imagine it was you. Put yourself in that place. Put yourself in his clothes. Put yourself in his shoes. And, tishtatef with his pain. And that ishtatfut is enough maybe to help him out of his problem. So here's a big itzah, a good itzah. Things you're going through. We have Rav Kenning coming this week. This is a tzaddik like that. You have Rav Kenning coming this Thursday. He's here for 10 days. You have to go see him. You have to go into. It's a must. It's a must. 1 minute by the tzaddik is much, much better than a year of doing your own Avodat Hashem. 1 day, 1 conversation. There's things I heard from the Rav Kenning Zatzal that stick with me for life. They're just pnimi. And Rabbeinu says it in Torah Zayin that we're learning. When you hear from somebody who has it pure inside of him, it goes pure inside of you. And then when you give it to somebody else, it's pure. So this is a good itzah. Beruchim to you.
Excellent. Thank you, Rabbi. What's the schedule of the Rav? We don't?
Just be a nudnik. You know what it means be a nudnik?